A member of the CVU girls basketball team posted a TikTok video in December that included the word in the voiceover. An hour later, the video was removed, but it was too late. The damage was already done. This has been a hard lesson for student athletes who posted offensive video in December before 2023 was even 24 hours old. She was meeting with Principal Adam Bunting and Athletic Director Ricky McCullum on New Year's Day. Quote, because she made the video with a family member who was a person of color, she wrongly believed it was okay to post something that used the N-word. Newton took down the video within an hour, but the damage was done as it was recorded and widely distributed by many others. The consequences were strong, including losing her captaincy of the team, being suspended from gameplay, and being removed from leadership clubs in the school. Contrary to what some have stated, she was suspended for more than one game. In a phone call, the coach declined to say how many. January 6th, Rice, and on January 12th, Burlington both postponed their games at CVU because of the video. Bunting stated that other schools have discussed postponing games as well, and later he asked before doing this that other teams consider the consequences the player is facing and, quote, trust that she views the video as the worst mistake of her life because she is learning how much she has hurt others. If other girls' basketball teams want to talk with him about the issue aggravated deaths, he offered to meet with them at CVU or travel to their school. He also stated that he didn't know if other basketball teams will postpone their games with CVU, but hopes that they know that the school is doing a lot of work about the issue. Quote, I think it's elevated the discussion beyond basketball to what's more important. So the disruption to the play and to the joy of the game are also kind of worth it for the amount of learning that we're all doing. In the past years, there have been news stories about CVU players being subject to discriminatory taunts and slurs at the school. Quote, it's hard for me to imagine that any team in the state hasn't experienced something like that. Girls basketball coach Ute Oli stated that her team is super aware of any harm that's been done and the consequences for using poor judgment. Quote, all of the girls are learning some really important lessons through the experience, but this has kind of been the predominant topic for 3 weeks. We were eager to return to being able to play basketball teams and focus primarily on playing basketball. Now, the craziest thing about this is that normally you can find a video somewhere directly online. I actually tried to look online just for, a little bit of time, and it's almost like they just scrubbed the internet of that video when they literally stated that that video was up for a certain period of time. It was literally up for a certain period of time. I'm guessing that it really did not venture too far, or people really didn't recognize it, or the person might have had their channel or whatever set to followers so that only people who follow the channel may see that content. So that may have helped, right? Because normally, like with any school that we've normally seen and heard these stories specifically from, and they start, yammering on and saying like, hey, we care about diversity, we care about the safety of our students, and we care about the well-being of everybody, and we're not for this and that, and, people feeling a certain type of way about race or skin color because we're all one, right? Normally, you can always find a video. Somebody did a great job that day. Let me tell you, when they were on it, they were on it. But as they stated before, the damage was already done, right? And I specifically want to blame the person, whoever the student was, and the black person that's in their family that allowed them to basically do it or didn't monitor what it is that they were doing. I don't care if you were a friend or family member, half or whatever it is. You should have checked them, and you should have made sure that they weren't doing stuff like that. Like I said, number one, you are to blame. Number one, you are to blame. Number two, that girl, as Caucasian as all get out, you decided that you wanted to do something so stupid, and you inevitably affected the school in a multitude of ways on a magnitude of what you could not have even seen when you originally thought of creating that dumb video. And your school lost out on playing on quite some games. You lost out on points. You lost out on wins, right? And I'm pretty sure that set you back. And that also made other schools basically think about, hey, we don't really want to associate ourselves with this, even though we're not a part of it, but we don't want to make it seem as though that we don't care. So, again, you got schools thinking about, hey, should we really play the school after what it is that they've already done because of one person? Like I said, and I keep telling people before, all it takes is for one person to mess it up for everybody else. I don't care how many times people want to come through on this platform stating that, oh, be an individual, just be yourself. One individual's actions doesn't account or attest for everybody else out there. In a lot of instances, yes, it does. Yes, it does, especially when it deals with a brand. Yes, it does. Let somebody under Kroger or under a TJ Maxx or whatnot or whatever, let one of those higher ups or a worker go on a racist type of rant on social media while people know who they work for, the branding of the company, and they're also in that wardrobe or they show anything that's associated with that company. People are going to be like, yo, you guys hired this person. Why hasn't this person been fired yet? Matter of fact, since you guys ain't talking quick enough, we're going to sit up there and set up a boycott. And that took place because of one person. We've seen this throughout the last 10 years where corporations have had to apologize for a worker or workers who proceeded to be online doing some nonsense or being racist or saying things that they don't need to be saying, knowing the fact that they are working for a brand, working for a company, working for a name of which that is not theirs. And because they are doing that, the company is going to be held accountable. Not just that one person, the company is going to be held accountable because that's their employee, that's their worker. They are paying them money to be there. So again, to a lot of those people who always want to talk all this individuality talk, yeah, that only works to certain extents. If you're an entrepreneur, you're working by yourself or what, and you want to say something reckless, fine, that's your brand. You are an individual at the end of the day. That is your business. If you want to, push it directly into the ground for it to never come back up again, by all means, go ahead and do it. But if you are a quote unquote individual and you're working for a company, aka a group, a brand, and you decide that you want to do something stupid, guess what? That's going to reflect badly on the company, on that family, on that name. It just is what it is. There is no skating or skirting, beating around a bush when it deals with that. Like I said before, go argue with your mama, go argue with God, don't argue with me. So again, it is directly what it is, and people need to start getting directly in line and understanding that. I'm getting tired of all of this, oh, I'm an individual type of nonsense. Like I said, this one girl messed it up for her whole school when it dealt with them being able to play other teams in sports. She did that because she wanted to release a video, because she thought that it was funny. She thought it was hip. She thought it was cool. Like I said before, all it takes is one person. All it takes is one person. Matter of fact, let me put it to a larger extent. If the president of the United States, a sitting president of the United States, decided to come out there and say something racist, do you know what that's going to sit up there and do? How people are going to look at America? It don't matter if you're an individual. It don't matter if you don't share in the exact same sentiments or the words that president used. The moment in time that a sitting president of the United States decides to say something racist in front of everybody, people are going to look at America as a racist country. It just is what it is. Again, don't argue with me. Argue with your mama. Argue with God. Those just are the facts. And like I said before, if we want to take this a step deeper, we can go into some books. We can go into some history to show you how the world, because of a group, because of one person in America, how the world viewed the United States. But I'll save that for a different video at a different time because looking at this is going a little bit too long. So anyways, let me know what you guys think about the story in this video and the comment description below. And as always, peace, love, and stay tuned for the next video.